All right, today we're learning about the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem states that in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse, the longest side, is equal to the sum of the squares of the two other sides. All right, in other words, when I take this leg here, I square it, and I take this leg here, I square it. Add these two together, it should equal to C, the hypotenuse, squared. We use this formula here. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared, where C is the longest side, the hypotenuse. So let's start with this problem. Now, before we start, first we have to learn to identify the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is the longest side, is our C. And in a right triangle is usually opposite of that 90-degree angle. You see the little square here. So let's go back to our problem. In a right triangle, one leg measures 3 units, the other leg measures 4 units. Find the length of the hypotenuse. So let's find the length of the hypotenuse. How do we do that? We use our formula. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Okay. So first we are looking, I always like to write the hypotenuse first. C, identify C. C is my longest side. In this problem, they let me know that I have one leg, 3 unit, the other leg, 4 unit, and I need to find C. So I'm going to start with C squared. Leg 1 is going to be A. B squared plus 4 squared. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. I'm going to add these two together to give me 25 is equal to C squared. Now, once I'm here, I'm going to take the square root of both sides to solve for C. So now my answer is C is equal to, what is the square root of 25? That's 5. So my answer is 5. Now, we could do this directly in a calculator. Because I'm going to take the square root of everything at the end, I usually like to start with the square root first. Because I know I'm looking for C, so I could just add the two legs, the square root of the two legs first. So that's 3 to the second power plus 4 to the second power. My answer is 5. Let's move on to the next problem. In a right triangle, one leg measures 5 units and the hypotenuse measure 11 units. Find the length of the missing length, okay? Now, let's first identify, let's write our formula first. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Now, I like to start with the hypotenuse. I like to identify the hypotenuse first. The hypotenuse measure is 11 units. So that is my C. So my C is 11 unit, 11 to the second power. One leg measures 5 unit. I need to find the other leg. It doesn't really matter which one you make A or B. So I'm gonna look for A. A to the second. I'm gonna make 5B plus 5 to the second. So once again, a to the 5 to the second will be 25. 11 to the second will be 121. A to the second. All right, now I'm going to solve for a minus 25 on both sides, minus 25 on both sides. This is going to cross out. Do an inverse operation. A to the second is equal to, you grab your calculator, 121 minus 25 is equal to 96. I'm not done, all right? I have found what a to the second power looking is equal to. I need to find what a is equal to. So I need to take the square root of both sides. The square root of a to the second will give me a. The square root of 96, we could leave like that as the square root of 96. Now, we don't need to find the approximate answer unless they ask us for it. For example, in this problem, on a multiple choice answer is the square root of 96, so we could leave that as our answer. Last but not least, a ladder leans against a wall, forming a right triangle. This is the key here, guys. Right triangle. The ladder, we got skills, math skills here. Let me draw this ladder. Okay. A ladder leaning against the wall. So this is my ladder here. Look at the skills. About 4 years in art magnet paying off right here. All right, now leaning against the wall. All right. The base of the ladder, so this is the base of the ladder, is 8 feet away from the wall. So my base is right here, and it's 8 feet away from the wall. So I'm a right triangle like this. This is 8. The ladder is 17 feet. All right. All right. I think the rest was a typo. So 17 feet. How long is the height that the ladder reaches the wall? So we want to find this right here. This length right here. That's what we're looking for. All right. So quickly, let's go ahead and write our formula down. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Now I need to identify C. All right. How did we identify C again? C is usually the longest side, and it's the length opposite the 90-degree angle. So I draw my arrow going opposite the 90-degree angle. Our C is 17. So 17 to the second power. Doesn't matter which one I make A or B. So 8 to the second plus 8 to the second power. I'm looking for one of the legs. So whenever I'm looking for one of the legs, I know I'm going to have to subtract. So I go ahead and say, okay, well, A to the second plus, what is 8 to the second? 8 to the second would be 64. Now let's do 17 to the second here using the calculator. That's 289. Now I'm going to solve. I'm going to solve for A. A. All right. Wait. Do an inverse operation. Minus 64 on both sides. Minus 64 on both sides. This is going to cross out. A to the second is equal to, let's see, minus 64 is 225. 225. Then I'm going to take the square root both sides. Square root of both sides. A is equal to What is the square root of 225? The square root of 225, let's do this here, 225, let me see, calculator for you, 15. So I know this length right here is equal to 15 feet. 15 feet. All right, now your turn. Oh, okay, let's move on and do this one. Okay, let's go back quickly now. Let's review. A right triangle. One leg measures 5 units, the other leg measures 12 units. Find the length of this hypotenuse. This is the first one we worked, first problem we worked out. So easy. A square plus B square is equal to C square. I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So 5 to the second power plus 12 to the second power is equal to C. 5 to the second power is 25. 12 to the second power is 144. Huh? Don't be afraid to use your calculator. Add those two together. 169. We're going to take the square root of both sides. C is equal to the square root of 169 is equal to 13. 13. So here's our answer here. Let's move on right here to this one. A right triangle. In a right triangle, one leg measured 8 unit and the hypotenuse measured 13 unit. Find the length of the missing side. I always like to start my formula. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Find C. So C is the longest side, the hypotenuse. 13 to the second power. 8 to the second power. And I'm looking for A. All right. With this one, I'm going to show you how I would solve this um, using the calculator. All right. I always like to start with the square because I know I'm going to take the square root of everything. So I like to go in and put, okay, well, 13 square minus 8 to the second power. It's going to give you about 10 something. Now I look at my multiple choice and I don't see this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the square root symbol. So 13 to the second power minus 8 to the second power is equal to 80. I mean, minus, oh, wrong. 8 to the second power is equal to 105. And then I take the square root of 105. So my answer is this. Mhm. I'm going to solve the last one also using the calculator. So let's look. The last one, I want you to solve it on your own. Yeah, I agree.